Alright, so welcome to another tutorial. This one we've got a lot to cover, but I'm going to try and show you some really basic moves, if you will, in Adobe Premiere. So this is Adobe Premiere Pro CC. I think it is the latest version at the moment. I'm pretty sure I'm up to date. So yeah, firstly, when you open Premiere, you're going to see something like this. Yours might be different because I have moved things around, but pretty sure I've stuck to pretty much how it was when I first loaded it up. So obviously this tutorial takes into consideration, you probably already know the general things, how to open a project, save, all those types of things. But let's just say you've got it open for the first time, you've started a project, and you want to start importing some footage. So let's do that now. Let's just say we go with something from the Vespa shoot. So let's just say we're at in our folder where all our media is. Make sure if you've got your media that you copy it to your computer and you don't work off your SD card. Make sure you copy all your clips from your SD card to your computer and then start editing, because as soon as you eject the card you're going to lose the project, and also it's not reliable to work on a card, and it is also very slow. Alright, so let's just say we want to use this clip. It's as simple as, there's many ways to do this. You can go through the media browser and find the files, but I just pretty much just open the folder, drag them in down to this box here. So this is what you call your bin. This is where all your files are stored. You might have things that are called titles or adjustment layers or anything like that. They're all stored in here. You can make new bins. So what I sometimes do, if you just right click in here and go new bin, you can make a new bin. So basically sometimes what I do is I might have a bin for certain parts of the video, like for this Vespa little shoot we did. I had a bin for the wake up scene for the male model, and then wake up scene for the female model, and I had a bin for the male riding and one for the female, etc. It just helps you organize things a lot better. For this example though, I'm just going to throw it straight in the main bin here, which is the project bin. So once it's there, there's a few ways of getting it onto your timeline. You can easily just drag it straight across onto the timeline right here, and boom, there it is. So you'll see V1 is video track 1, and then you got audio. So if you don't have audio, you won't have this second bar here. And yeah, so we'll get rid of that for now. If you were to double click this, you can actually set in and out points on the video, and it'll only move that part of the video to the timeline. But I usually just drag it over. So let's just do that. Drag it over to the timeline. There it is. Then I move my playhead to where I want this exact shot to start. So this is a really quick one. Actually, nothing happened in that one, but for an example, let's just say we wanted to start as she's crossing the road or something, just there. What you can do, there's two ways of doing this. You can put your mouse to the left of the block, and you'll see that red little left bracket type thing, and you can then hold down your left mouse button and move it over as much as you want. So, and it'll show you at the top, it'll show you just in here, if you look, it will show you where you're cutting. But what I like to do is put the playhead exactly where I want to cut, and it actually just snaps to the playhead, as you can see there. So it'll be exactly where we wanted it. Yeah, I can drag that back to the start. And another way of doing that, so let's just say we want to, as you can see, it's exactly where we wanted it. Let's just say we want to cut it as soon as she leaves the frame. Instead of dragging it back, you can also use this tool here, which is called the razor tool. You can click that, razor it wherever you like. So let's just razor it on the playhead, because that's where we want it. That'll split the clips. It won't delete it, it'll split the clips. But then you can use the selection tool here, click the second part of the clip, and then just press delete on your keyboard, and it's gone. Now you haven't lost that for good. So if you accidentally cut that a little too soon or something, you can just same deal as dragging the other way. You can also drag out. So we can drag that clip. We can drag this clip back to the original way it was. It never deletes a part of the clip. It just basically gives it points where it's going to come in and come out. So that's a really basic tutorial on just trimming video, I guess. And then what you also have is, you'll notice when we move the video, the audio also moves with it. Now sometimes I don't like that. Sometimes I like to delete all the audio, such as like for this Vespa video, it was just music the whole time, so I had to delete all the audio. The way I did that, we left clicked left click on our clip, we right click, we go to unlink, so basically that will unlink the video from the audio. Now you'll see I can click them separately, and now we can move this, trim this, or easily just press delete on the keyboard and delete that. So now all we have on this clip is video. So sometimes you might want to do what's called a J cut or an L cut, where the audio from one clip is still playing while another clip is being shown, if that makes sense, or vice versa. You might have video being shown first and then the audio is still playing from the last clip, etc. You can do a whole bunch of things like that. Let me just get another clip, random one, throw that in there. So if you're adding more clips, all you do is drag them. You can drag them all at once, you can do whatever you like. So it's now imported the second clip. Let's just drag this over here. So as you can see, we've got audio. So if I wanted to do what I was saying before, same thing, unlink, and now we can move the audio. So this audio will start playing, but remember, we've now moved it out of sync, because originally it was here. If we move it over, if there is any talking and someone's mouth's moving, it'll be totally out of sync. So what you need to do in that case is actually shorten the video as well. So if you wanted to do like a shot where the audio is playing earlier than the clip, this is what you'd have to do. You can drag the clip out and then you can move these both over. So what will happen now is the video will continue to play, the audio from the next clip will start playing, and then the video will show for the next clip. So as I said, you can't just drag the audio out that way, because there's nothing, this doesn't exist, and you can't just push it over because you will knock it out of sync. So that's something important to remember. A few more things is if you put a clip on top of another one, it will just show whichever one's on top. As you can see, flick straight to that one. So that's a good way of, I often do this to lay out, do a really rough cut of my video without cutting any or trimming any clips down. I just stack them up just like that. Or sometimes you might want them playing at the same time. So I'm about to show you something now. Let's put these on top of each other. Let's pick our first clip down here, which let's pick our top clip because we can see that. And once you click that and we go to effect controls, I'm going to show you a few little things in under motion here. So position is where it is on the screen. You can click the motion here, you can move it around wherever you like. So as you can see, because that clip's underneath, we can show two at once, which is really, really handy. So we'll move that back to where it was. It's 1920 by 1080 is the middle position for that. Now you can also play around with scale, which is the size, so 100% will fill your whole window. Now this depends on the sequence you're using. So I'm in a 4K sequence here. Just make sure you're editing in the right sequence. I'm in 4K. His clips are 4K, so they fill the whole window. You can watch my video on downscaling 4K to 1080p because it kind of goes along these lines. Anyway, let's just say we're up to half the size of the video. We can set the scale to 50%. As you can see now, it's half the size. We can have this go back to motion. We can have this playing in the corner. You can also keyframe all of these things, so you can have it start over here and move its way over there. I won't get into that because it's a bit more than basic. It's very easy. All you do, I'll show you really quickly. You set the playhead wherever you want it. You set the key, toggle the animation on, so click the stopwatch there. Now that sets a keyframe where the video is there. Now let's just say towards the end of the clip, we wanted it to end up down here. Oops, down here. It'll show you that little line to show you where it's going to move, and if we play that back, you'll see it slowly moving. If you want that to be faster, all you got to do is pull your last keyframe in, and you'll see now it's a bit faster. So anyway, I'm not going to get into that too much because, as I said, that is a bit more advanced. But yeah, basically in here you can play with the rotation of your clip, anchor point, which is basically which is that part there. It's not too important. Opacity is how see-through the clip is. This is a way you can fade clips in and out. Another thing I'll show you, so let's just say we put these clips side by side again. We put this one here, because this one's going to be still at our small size. We put that one back to 100% scale, and we get that back in the center. Okay, so we're back to how we were. What's going to happen with these two clips is just delete the audio. This one's going to play, and then as soon as we hit that one's obviously going to play. Whoops. So scale 100%. Position. Okay, so we're back in the middle. Sorry about that. So basically, once this clip ends, the next one's going to start, just like that. Boom, boom. So a lot of people want some transitions between these videos. So let's just go with you go down to video transitions. One that I'm probably the biggest fan of is either the wipe or the dissolve. So heaps of these to play with when your clips are next to each other. Actually, another quick tip while we're here, this is how you scroll a lot left and right on the timeline. You just grab this bar. If you want to zoom into your timeline, so you need to get right in close, you grab this end here and you move it towards the other end, and everything gets bigger and you're pretty much zoomed in. So now let's try a cross dissolve across these, and what you'll see is it tells us insufficient media, the transition will contain repeated frames. Now if you ever get this, or you ever find that the dissolve, let's just delete that, sorry. Or if you ever find that your transition will only, it's not happening now, but sometimes it only jumps on the one clip, what that means is there's not enough frames for the transition. If that happens, unfortunately you do have to get rid of some frames. So we've got to wind this one, like cut some out of the start of that and cut some out of the end of this. Now you'll see we're able to put our cross dissolve on. There you go. So you basically, yeah, you have to remove some of the video, the end of the first video and the start of the next video. It's unfortunate because sometimes you might have something very important towards the end, but obviously it can't just make up what's there, so it does have to happen. But as you'll see now, we've got a dissolve between the clips, and you can control the time of that by clicking on it. You can either drag it out or you can set the duration up here. Keeping in mind again, if you drag it out too wide, it's going to be the same deal. You do need to cut your clips back even further. The same goes for pretty much all of the transitions here. Let's show another one very quickly. Let's do a wipe. We'll do just a normal wipe, and you'll see this one just does a wipe just like that. Pretty cool. So there's a lot of transitions to play with. You got all these 3D motion, dissolve, iris, page peel, slides, wipes and zooms, so plenty to play with. And yeah, I mean that's a pretty basic tutorial. I don't know what else I could go through. I've shown you how to cut clips. I'll show you another quick little handy tool. Let's just shrink this down for instance. Let's just say the start and the end of this video isn't exactly where you wanted it. You could drag it away, make this bigger and play around with it for a long time, or what you can do is sometimes this requires a bit of a faster computer to show you where you're at, but what you can do is use the sorry, is it Ripple? I think it's a Ripple edit tool, or I don't use this that often, sorry, so slip tool, that's the one. And you can grab the clip and move it so it starts later. As you can see there, it's going to show us what we're doing. So it's going to show us that we can start earlier. That's as far as I can go without actually playing around. I don't usually do that because I usually just pull the clip out, look at it and say, yeah, I want to start there and then I want to end there, etc. So it's usually quicker for me to do that. That's just the way I am. Another fantastic tool is this one. Yeah, that one. Track select forward tool. This is so you can grab everything and push it, and that really helps when you've got a whole bunch of stuff you need to make some room, or vice versa, you want to come back the other way like that. So it's really handy. Another great thing is if your clips are like that, you've got a big gap and you've got a whole lot of things going on down here, you can just right click and ripple delete or press delete on your keyboard and it'll bring all the clips back to there. Yeah, it's hard to know what else to tell you without going on and on for too long. I think this has already been about 14 minutes now, or close to. So yeah, the rest, I mean, just play around, you get the hang of it. Once you know how to move these clips around, what happens when you put one on top or on bottom. Audio, you can same deal, you can put audio on top or the bottom of each other, similar to video like this. They'll both play at the same time. If you want to play with actually this is a pretty important one, the volume of a clip, you can go click on the clip, make sure in our effect controls, go to volume, and you can set the level right here. Remember, if any of these stopwatches are lit up, so they're blue like that, it means they are being keyframes. So if I was to go here and write, you know, minus 20 decibels, and then move it there to 0, what's going to happen, you'll see if we, another quick, while we're here, keep doing this, while we're here, if your mouse is over one of the tracks and you have a mouse wheel and you roll that up, it will zoom in, like not zoom in but open so you can see. I always do this with audio, it's important to see. So as you can see from what we've done with our keyframes, we've started here at minus 20 decibels and we've come up to 0. So 0 is just the standard. 0 is like normal volume, minus is to turn it down. So usually if I have music playing, which I'll probably do right now, over this video, I'll have it like -20, -25. You don't want to boost it too much because it does start to distort. And you'll see over here, just in here, you have like audio decibel meter here. So if that ever hits the red, it'll light up. There you go. It'll light up there, and you know that it's a bit distorted, so you might want to turn that one track down. To zoom back out, we can just grab that. So if you need to see something really far into your timeline, and again to zoom in, easy as just grabbing this little block here and moving it in and out. Simple as that. Obviously you've got your standard controls up here. This is your preview window pretty much. You can play your video. You can track forward a frame, back a frame. This is to go to, if you set an in point, so you can do that by right clicking. Oops, so you can do that by clicking up here and marking in and marking out. That's just marking a certain part of the clip. Again, that's for a more advanced tutorial. You can take a snapshot of what's showing there and export it as a JPEG file or something. Another important way is to make a marker. You can do that with the M key or press that. This is important if you trying to sometimes sync something up, or you need to say, alright, it's this point in the video where this happens, that's where the sound has to be, or something like that. They're really, really handy. Yeah, I'm going to have a lot more little tutorials for stuff that's a little bit more advanced in the future, so keep a lookout for them. Please subscribe so you can see them when they do come up. This is just a really basic tutorial. If there's something I've forgotten that's really basic or something you're not too sure of, please let me know in the comments below, because I'd love to hear it. I'd love to try and help as well. As I said, please subscribe. I hope this helped, and see you next time. Thanks for watching.